Welcome to Season 2 of my podcast show, Heading to the Holy Land, how to prepare, plan, and pray for a life-changing journey. Everything you need to know to bring your group to Israel. But where do you start? What do you need to know? What must you do, and when and how? Heading to the Holy Land podcast lays it all out for you simply and clearly, step by step. This podcast will equip you with all the practical information to enjoy a landmark journey of faith and heart. We will talk about everything you need to know. We will talk about financial planning, travel pointers, important legal matters, what to wear, ethical and even cross-cultural considerations, and many, many more things. Drawing on decades of my experience as a professional tour guide in Israel, I will answer all your questions, even the ones you might not think to ask. Welcome to this episode, how to plan and prepare and promote your tour to Israel. In this podcast, I will share with you 10 practical steps how to plan and promote your next trip. And at the end of this episode, I will answer the 10 most common frequent questions when it comes to planning your next tour. First thing you need to do, step number 1, establish a leadership team. Set your goals and enlist prayer supporters and find a spiritual covering. Although you do not need any prior experience to lead a tour to Israel, you may want to enlist other individuals to help you in coordinating the details of the trip. You need to establish a leadership team of 2 or 3 people, maybe husband and wife, especially if you are coming with a large group, that can help drive the overall process and get the word out about the tour. Also, you need to include one specific gifted person to handle the financial responsibilities for the tour from beginning to end, as well as a tour logistics administrator, getting from their home, get them to the flight, and all the way to Israel. Usually, the church secretary takes care of all what I mentioned. The leadership team will be responsible for the following things: communicating with potential tour participants. The team will be responsible in sending promotional materials and information to churches or individuals. Also, they will be responsible on creating and maintaining a list of people who have expressed interest in going to Israel. And this is also helpful for organizing future trips to Israel. And also, they will be responsible in coordinating regular meetings, prayer groups, or Bible studies for tour participants even before they come to the land. This will keep the group members to be encouraged. The more they are prepared in advance, the more successful is the trip. It's very important that we ask from group leaders and tour participants to ask for prayer coverings before, during, and after your tour. Prayer for strength, safety, and spiritual openness is very crucial for the Holy Spirit to bring about life-changing experience to every tour participant that visit the Holy Land. Next step is requesting the tour itinerary. This is where the nuts and bolts planning of the tour begins. You will communicate your vision to me, Andre, or to my wife, Marie. She is the program director. And together, we will customize a meaningful program and tour that accomplishes your vision and goals. We customize each tour according to each church or ministry needs. Step number 3 is requesting the tour price quotation. After the tour itinerary is finalized, a tour price quote will be given by Twins Tours. At this point, the group leader will have all the information necessary to plan and make decisions. As the quote is being developed, there are several factors to keep in mind. Prices are higher during the Jewish holidays. The number of participants will determine how many free places you receive. The prices quoted are for double occupancy. There is, of course, a single supplement fee for single occupancy rooms. The type of hotels which affect prices: 4 stars hotels or 5 stars hotels. Step number 4. Reserving the tour. The tour leader will then confirm the reservation and the program with Twins Tours with the exact confirmed dates. By the way, better to have the final dates way in advance, and that will result in a final contract with a payment schedule. And also at this point, remember your flight's details must be final and booked. Step number 5. Prepare marketing materials. Now that your tour is designed, priced, and air portion is booked, having up-to-date and effective marketing materials is an excellent way to promote your trip. You may find that setting up a simple website or a Facebook group or maybe an Instagram page or a WhatsApp group is an easy and efficient way to distribute the trip's promotional materials and any other information. Is the communication with the tour participants is very important at this stage. Now we're coming to step number 6. Reach out and register participants. The upcoming tour is now ready to be presented to potential participants in your circle of influence. This will include your church community, ministry partners, and friends as widely as possible by making announcements, short presentations, or hosting an informal Israel orientation meeting to answer questions, show photos, and promote the tour. Or even you can invite me to speak in your church about the trip and prepare people and getting them excited. Step number 7. Payments, terms, and conditions. Payment schedule: 100% of the entire amount should be wired 2 months in advance to Twins Tours bank account in Israel. And after the transfer is made, immediately notify Twins Tours office so we can confirm with our bank that we received the money. Most international wire transfers take 2 days to 1 week to receive, depending on holidays, weekends. Each payment will generate a receipt from Twins Tours with a final invoice showing all payments and any refunds required. Group cancellations. If any group cancels less than 60 days prior to arrival, refunds are not guaranteed and cancellation fees may be applied. However, if the cancellation is due to the unlikely events of war or national emergency or epidemics, then Twins Tours will retain a small admission fee and return the bulk of the monies paid back to the clients. Individual cancellations. If an individual participant cancels less than 14 days prior to arrival, then full refunds cannot be guaranteed, and cancellation fees may be applied. The situation will be evaluated on a case-by-case basis. This is why travel insurance that includes the trip cancellation fees for illness, injury, or medical emergencies is highly recommended. Tips must be given in cash in 3 separate envelopes labeled tour guide, bus driver, and hotel tips. Step number 8. Tour leader responsibilities. The tour leader is responsible for the team he or she is bringing. This includes having a packet of the following information with them at all times on the tour: a copy of each participant passports, a copy of emergency contact information, a list of any prescription medication each participant take, and a health insurance information for each participant in case of any emergency. If there is a medical emergency or any other type, Twins Tours will assist the tour leader in making decisions on how to resolve the emergency. And Twins Tours will always stand with the tour leader to solve any issue coming up. Honestly, we are used to do that. We have done it hundreds and hundreds of times. We know the best hospitals in Israel, the best places, and the best locations. This is being part of our daily job. We have everything ready in our office. We have wheelchairs, everything you need. And actually, there is one person in the office, Albert, my younger brother. He is responsible in all the emergencies that takes place during the tour. And also because you are in the Middle East, and in case of any event of a security situation, such as rioting or unrest, or we have to change the route, or accidents, or even weather conditions, Twins Tours management is ultimately responsible for making the best decisions that might affect the itinerary and the touring schedule, together with the tour leader. Our tour guides are in constant communication with law and security authorities about the safety of any location on the program. And the tour guides will discuss it with the tour leader and contact our office if there is any change in the program for any reason. Number one for us is the security of each person in the trip, above everything. Now we come to step number 9. It's a very practical step. The tour guide and driver working hours. Tour guides are restricted to work 9 hours per day. Any additional hours will be billed to the tour budget. Regarding buses, according to Israeli law, the daily limit is 200 kilometers and for 9 hours. Extra fees will apply for any additional kilometers or hours. We are, of course, very flexible. And the last thing is step number 10. The administrative practical things that need to be prepared. Number 1, name tags. The tour leader will be responsible for printing and bringing name tags for each tour participant. On the back of the name tags, please include the names and phone numbers of the hotels, the guides, and Twins Tours office. You can get this information from us. Also, some tour leaders like to bring song sheets. Many groups like to have a small list of song sheets for the participants to use during times of worship. Also, others like to bring devotional and prayer schedules. Many groups often welcome the involvement of the participants and create a devotional and prayer schedule for each day of the tour. If you choose to do this, please have it organized before making the trip here. Also, Twins Tours will supply you with a free journal booklet. And in that journal, there are pictures, maps, and a lot of study materials, even worship songs. Everything you need to use when you are in Israel. And if you like to have a copy of that journal in advance, there is a paperback ready on Amazon.com. Simply search for Twins Tour Study Reader. Do not get the Kindle version. It won't be practical. Only get the paperback copy. And you will like it so much if you like to write and journal during your tour. Also, Wi-Fi. Most hotels will have free Wi-Fi in the lobby area and sometimes in the rooms too. Also, with Twins Tours, all our buses have unlimited Wi-Fi access. Also, many people ask for hair dryers. Most hotels have hair dryers. Guest houses do not have them. So please keep this in mind as you plan your tour. Many people ask also about Israeli cell phone SIM cards. We highly recommend not to buy a SIM card from Israel, but buy a plan from your home, from your country, and it's not expensive. It's like $10 or $15 for a month with internet service. We recommend this so much to our tour participants because you need to stay connected with your family. So there are international calling data plans from your own home country. Get it organized before you arrive. For larger groups, if your group is more than 40 participants, it is often helpful to have the group broken down into smaller groups with small group leaders. For example, if you're 40, you can divide your group to 10 participants. This way you will have 4 groups and 4 tour leaders. And this will be very helpful and very practical when you move from one place to another. Every tour leader is responsible for his own small group. And this helps information get distributed quickly to the tour participants. And the small group leaders can help be on the lookout for problems that the tour participants may encounter, such as feeling isolated or feeling like not connected with the people or just any need they want. Let me share with you about the bus companies Twins Tours uses. We have contracts with the 2 largest bus companies in Israel, with a selection of more than 450 vehicles, ranging from small cars, 4-seaters, 7-seaters, 15-seaters, 20-seaters, and even 55 passengers seat big bus. All the vehicles are brand new with Wi-Fi services. Also, Twins Tours supplies audio devices for groups larger than 15 people. Booking the wireless whispers system helps make sure that every person in the group is equally able to hear the guide, especially in high seasons when it's so much crowded and you are in the streets of Jerusalem and in the markets and you are searching for your tour guide and you can't hear him among the crowds. These whispers, this invention is so much helpful for the tour guide and the tour participants. Also, we highly recommend that the tour leader opens a WhatsApp group or any social media group for every participant, that during the tour he can communicate with each person, and then add the tour guide to stay in contact for updates. For example, the wake-up calls. Using this WhatsApp, the tour guide will send to everyone as a reminder, the wake-up call is 7:30 in the morning, or to remind tour participants that this day they need to have long sleeves and cover their shoulders because they're visiting a holy site, or this day there is rain, or just to keep the group updated. And we found throughout the years the social media helps so much for communication. If you have participants or people with special needs, please advise us in advance, because if any tour participant have a mobility issue or especially dietary needs, we have a supply of wheelchairs, as I mentioned, and crutches in our office in Jerusalem. And there are so many people nowadays have dietary issues such as gluten-free or any other needs. Please communicate all of this in advance. So I shared with you briefly the 10 practical steps how to plan and promote your tour before arriving to Israel. Now I will share with you the 10 common frequent asked questions when it comes to planning your next trip to Israel that people ask me always in advance. Question number 1. How far in advance I should begin planning a trip? We suggest you allow yourself at least 9 to 12 months before coming to Israel. Although longer may be better, since you may find that you will need to promote the tour. Be aware it will take several weeks to negotiate with the airlines and book your flights. At that point, after your flights are confirmed, it is important to inform Twins Tours to finalize the tour program, hotels, and prices. You have to understand, the earlier you book your trip, the better you get the prices. I have tour leaders book groups with me 2 years in advance. That is the best way to do it. Question number 2. What does Twins Tours price includes? The price of the tour includes all of the basic expenses from the moment you arrive to the land to the moment you leave the land, which means our price quote will include breakfasts and dinner at the hotels. If you ask also to include the lunches, we can do it for you. The price quote will include the transportation fees, the entrance fees, the accommodation fees in each hotel. So we include everything except the flights. Many people nowadays like to book their own flights because they have cheaper deals when they book it from their home countries. But if you want to book the whole tour, including the flights, let us know. We have a travel agent that works with us in the United States, is like a partner for Twins Tours, and he can arrange everything for the tour leader. There are also some churches and tour leaders, they say, we want everything included in our trip, the total price. So that is also possible. Twins Tours can arrange it for you. The third common question, what does Twins Tours not include? We do not include travel insurance, or optional trips, or activities on free days, or visa applications. And that will take us to the fourth question. Do I need a visa to visit Israel? Individuals holding passports from Europe and North America do not need a visa to visit the land. Individuals from other countries, such as Africa and the Far East, like China and other countries like Malaysia, are all required to have visa before arrival. Twins Tours office is equipped to do visas for groups from the Far East. Also, another important note, all visitors to Israel must arrive with a valid passport that does not expire within 6 months after your arrival in Israel. It's very important. Question number 5. When is the best time of year to visit Israel? It's up to you, unless you specifically want to be in Israel for Christmas or Easter or during the Jewish festivals. Our advice is to schedule your tour not during the busy holiday seasons. This is during March and April, and the weather is very nice, or during the fall in a high season such as October or November, and during the Feast of Tabernacles. The country is so busy, so try to exclude all these high season festivals. The common question number 6. How much pocket money should I bring with me? Actually, it all depends on you, how much cash you want to carry. But we recommend not to bring cash much with you because every place takes Visa or MasterCards. They are all accepted throughout the country. However, we recommend that you notify your bank and credit card company and inform them of your travel plans to avoid them potentially suspending your account due to irregular activities or international activities. Do not bring traveler checks. They are not accepted anymore. Another important common question, do I need travel health insurance? The answer is yes. If your health insurance does not cover international travel, we strongly encourage each participant to purchase a basic plan. We are sure that you are all aware of this, but please double check that every participant has travel insurance for the days in Israel. This can include medical emergency assistance, and it's not much expensive. to have the travel insurance. And according to the law, this is a must in Israel. The alternative, to be without coverage during a medical emergency, can become very expensive if the participant does not have insurance. They need to document that they have done it and send each tour leader the information for each participant's insurance. From our experience, each participant needs to carry a list of all their also daily medications, including the names and the dosage they take, as well as any medications that they are allergic to. Because in case of emergency, this list must be ready to give the medical professionals. Another common question: do I need trip cancellation insurance? The answer is yes. Again, so much recommended. Most travel health insurance companies have the option to add trip cancellation insurance fees. The last common question: when do I have to book my flights? You can book as far in advance as 9 to 11 months out. There are individual bookings and there are group bookings. Of course, nowadays, individual bookings can be done directly through the internet. For group bookings, we require a deposit per person to hold a reservation, usually within 14 days of initial booking. Now, if you are hearing this podcast episode, I, of course, did not cover all the questions. I covered the major questions asked by tour leaders and by tour participants. But if you have other questions, please feel free to email me directly or check our website www.twinstours.org and ask us any question. We are so happy to help you. I hope you enjoyed this episode, how to plan and promote your tour to Israel. The next podcast episode will be about the packing list. Everything you need to bring with you, starting from all the documents that you need and what you have to bring in the carry-on bags, and also what clothing and personal items and how many suitcases. We will deal with all the details, what to bring with you, the checklist to Israel in the next episode. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for listening, and hopefully you learned something new today.